You ready?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Woo!
What is vibing? This is Vish, and today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Can classical music heal?
I'm a meditation coach and I've guided hundreds of people on their meditation journeys. If you have any questions about it or want a one-on-one session with me, either comment down below or message me on Instagram at VishVibez. And today I'm here with another Vish. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Vishruthi. I'm a senior at the University of Texas at Austin. I study electrical and computer engineering, and I love to dance, so I do a lot of Bhangra and Bharatanatyam.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And do you want to share your social media?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram at vishruthi.ramaswamy.
Awesome. Well, check her stuff out, which will also be down below. Sadhguru is a yogi, mystic, and visionary who's truly enlightened the world. Have you heard of Sadhguru before?
Yeah, so my parents really like his teachings and followings, but I personally don't have much experience with him.
Got you. And have you seen any of his videos before?
Yeah, I've seen a couple, but not too many.
And what have you thought so far from seeing his videos?
I really, really love them. It seems like, I think it was definitely not something I expected at first, because he kind of seems like this old, like yogi kind of vibe.
The beard and
yes,
stuff.
with the beard. So you don't expect him to have such progressive or liberal views on things. But I find it really easy to like connect to him through the short videos that I've seen. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I myself actually have only been recently introduced to Sadhguru.
Yeah.
When I say recently, I'm talking the past maybe year and a half.
Uh-huh.
Before that, I was kind of this meditative as well as yoga journey, and then eventually I came across spirituality, and Sadhguru has really just been making a huge impact on this spiritual journey for me. And so, with all that being said,
let's get right into the video.
and before we start actually, would love to hear your views or predictions for this question. Do you think music has a healing power? Comment that down below right now, and then afterwards, would love to see if your view has changed after watching the video. Let's get back into it.
First, let's understand what's music. Music is a certain arrangement of sounds. If you arrange sounds in a certain way, it will become noise. If you arrange sounds in a different way, it will become music. There's a whole lot of noise crashing as music right now.
Yikes!
If you know something about classical music, you would see classical music involves an enormous amount of mathematics behind it. There's a structure, a mathematical structure is being built. As far as I'm concerned, when I see somebody really good singing, for me, a whole geometry emerges out of that. So, in some way, you're trying to recreate creation in a sound form. How profoundly a particular musician, how far he can go into it is questionable. But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to explore the geometrical patterns, all the complex patterns that are possible in the form of creation. Because creation is just a complex amalgamation of sounds or reverberations. So, you definitely know, leave the words. I mean, if there are sappy words and people get a little sappy with it, that's different. They're giving meanings to it. Without any words, music can bring tears, music can bring joy, music can bring love, music can set moods and emotions and experiences in people, just by sheer sound, not using words. Words means it's a psychological pattern.
Yes.
Sound means it's an existential pattern. So this is why a music without words is very significant, and most of the Indian music is largely sound, here and there some words, but largely sound, because sound is an existential structure. Word, the meaning of the word, is a psychological structure. If I sing a song in Tamil, means nothing to you because you may not understand the language. If you sing in some other language that I do not know, means nothing to me because I do not understand the meaning. But the nature of the sound is not like that. If the sound is arranged in a particular geometry of things, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't get you in your emotion, but it gets you in the very being of who you are. In the basic way this creation has happened here. So it is an attempt to touch life. It's an attempt to imitate life in a different form, which is a phenomenal thing. And will people get healthy and well by this? Definitely, if you hit the right pitch. Yeah.
Wow. A lot of really cool things I learned from this video, which I didn't know before. I mean, I kind of knew about it, but he beautifully connected the dots with the topic of music. And Vishruthi, you have a classical music background?
Yes. Yes,
Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yes, so along with my Indian classical dance, I learned Indian classical vocals and violin for a while.
Okay.
So yes, lots of Indian classical music background. Wow. I started Bharatanatyam when I was around 5 years old.
Okay.
My mom is she has her own dance company and dance school back in Dallas.
Wow.
So I've been surrounded
Do you want to shout out that school?
Oh yeah, Samridaya Performing Arts. You can check us out on Instagram at samridaya.performing.arts. But yeah, definitely go check us out.
If you're in Dallas,
yeah,
check it out, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so been surrounded by it from a very young age, and you know, Indian classical dance is so heavily like intertwined with Hinduism and Indian classical music. So it would be like kind of nowhere without the Indian classical music aspect of it. So that's a lot that we learned about, yeah.
Super cool. And did you have a favorite, whether it was violin, singing, or dancing? Which one was your favorite?
Yeah, dancing for sure.
Okay.
Singing always gave me stage fright.
Okay.
But I love to listen to the music. Honestly, I love the sound of the violin. It's just very, very pretty to me. So all of it is very exciting, but dancing, of course, is my favorite.
Sweet. And what do you think of the video with regards to what he said about classical music healing? Do you think, really what was your take at the end?
Yes, I've personally always felt that way. I think I also like learned piano for a long time and Western violin too. So even with Western classical music too, just the whole like minors and major keys and how that can kind of just give you a different emotion and make you feel a different way based on like the kind of scale that they decide to use. Same thing with Indian classical music. We have like ragams, and those ragams invoke different feelings. So often when particularly for me, when I'm trying to depict a certain emotion or a story during a piece, if it's set in a certain ragam, will make me feel certain feelings, right?
Wow.
You know, like it'll feel really intense at a point, or very relaxed and peaceful, or you know, very lovey-dovey kind of songs. So yeah, all those kind of waves of emotions, they just have a way of touching you, like what he was talking about, how like without the words, because for me, I don't really know the words a lot of times when we dance to them. It's like meanings I have to figure out and like consciously remember them, but it's not a language I'm familiar with. So that kind of tone and nature of the music really helps me connect to it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that was well said as well. I'm curious, how would you compare, because you've done some Western music as well, right? With the piano as well as you said singing?
Yes.
How would you compare it? Because the one thing I'm familiar with is, with the very little music background that I have, I used to play the viola till 9th grade, so that's fine. But besides that, I'm curious, because I've heard the whole do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then the whole Sarigama from the Eastern. Are those similar, or how do those connect? I'm curious.
Yes, so just like we have like major and minor scales in the Western music, we have like ragams. And
so that's equivalent.
Yeah, so that's
equivalent.
But so normally, you know, like the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, those notes translate to the Sarigama Padanisa. But why we have so many different ragas is because we also hit mid-tones. Like we have like a R, like a R2 and a G2. So you hit those mid-tones. So we actually have 72 Melakarta ragas.
Wow.
Versus the major and minor scales, I think you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yes.
Right. So you have like 7 of those and 7 major scales and minor scales.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for sharing that, and it seems like you have a lot of knowledge in the area of music.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Awesome. And with that being said, I thought this was a very fascinating video. Honestly, I don't have too much experience with music, but like I mentioned earlier, I did some classical kind of singing for a little time, and then did a little classical piano as well, so I picked up some Sarigamapa notes, and then things like that. So that's why I was curious about that. But yeah, I thought it was really cool what he mentioned with how music is a lot more of a deeper, almost science, right? Like a geometry, like a math, and it's not just about words. And I thought it was really neat as to how he kind of poked at, I guess, modern music and how it's literally just noise.
Yes.
And so it's really nice to see how it can actually have healing powers. And a lot of these things, I think it might be the Gayatri Mantram, as well as some other chant actually. And what he basically says is that if you were to do this chant, you don't need to know the meaning. Just do the chant, and naturally it will have healing properties for the system at the energy, emotional, psychological, as well as mental levels. And so it's a really powerful tool that we could all use. And we'd love to hear your favorite music or ragas in the comments down below. If you have any other video requests, also comment that down below. And with that, make it a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome.
Yay!
You did great. Let's go.
I hope so.